Hi, this is Ashley Long, and I'm a first year veterinary student at St. George's University. And for today, we're going to go over 10 sample questions of interview questions that you should be prepared for when you get to that point. So if you guys have any questions, just put them down in the comments and I'll try and answer them as fast as I can. So for the first question is, tell me a bit about yourself. So for me, what I did for my interviews was just basically briefly going over the experiences I had in Germany, just to start out the conversation. I also told them where I graduated from for my undergraduate degree. If you have like a master's, you can also discuss that a little bit, but I would try not to overextend it too much with your response, just so they can continue on the interview process and build on questions based on your response to that one. So for the number 2 question is, how financially prepared are you for vet school? I receive this question quite a bit in like different formats, just because it is such a highly important thing to talk about before even thinking about going to vet school, because we all know that unfortunately vet school is very expensive, so we do have to be prepared for that. So in response to this question, I went over kind of how I plan on budgeting during vet school, how I'm going to work during my breaks just to make some more money so I don't have to take out more of my loans. So kind of responses like that, just be a little bit prepared to answer some sort of question about finances, just because again, it's very important in vet school. So for the third one, what made you want to be a veterinarian? This is one of the most common questions ever, and there can be a wide variety. Just please try and stay away from, I just love animals and that's what I want to do. The interviewer does want to know more detail about why. Like for me, I talked about how I was going through like a different career path, and then I ended up getting injured to the point where I couldn't do that one, so I had to choose something else. And I had fallen in love with working at the vet clinic during the summers just because I was looking for some sort of income, but then it turned out I actually love this field and it chose me. So just try and do something like that. Just try not to be too general with your answer. So for the fourth question is about, what are some of your strengths and what are some of your weaknesses? I did like 2 or 3 of each, but for the weaknesses, be sure to like explain how you're working towards getting it into more of a strength instead of a weakness. So vet schools don't want to hear that, oh, I have lack of communication, but you do have to understand that you just have to mention that you're working towards it by like taking some public speaking classes or doing like a YouTube channel, anything that'll make you look better instead of just a weakness. For the 5th question, it is, tell me about a time that you failed or had an obstacle and how you overcame it. So this is a very important question just because you can actually build up on this one. So you can bring in experiences other than veterinary medicine to show that you are well-rounded as an applicant. So you can use the veterinary experience, but try and tie in some other stuff like leadership. Always has a lot of obstacles and challenges in itself. Moving does as well. If you guys moved at any time of your life or had, unfortunately, a death in the family, you guys can always explain something like that. Just try to be personable as much as you can, just because that's kind of what the interviewers are looking for. At least from my applicant cycle, I noticed that they just wanted us to be more open to sharing on what's going on in our life and how we can do well in vet school despite it. Alright, so for number 6, it is, why are you interested in our program? Now this is a very important question because you definitely want to do research on the school you are applying to, or schools. Like for me, I just went through the doctorate programs at each one that I applied to, just to see if there was like a difference in like a class or an elective. I would mention something like that, maybe even a club, just something that you're interested in that makes that school stand out to you. So that would be my advice for that one. For number 7, one of the other most common questions are, what are some important traits that veterinarians may have? So they can either be like very detail oriented, very like team players, their communication should be pretty good, and compassion, of course. So just kind of have a few like responses down, because I believe for like the interviewers you can give like up to 2 or 3 different traits that are really good for a veterinarian to have. For number 8, what are some experiences you've had in the field or in the community? So definitely tying in kind of what you've done outside of the veterinary community is really important here. Either like you've joined a club or done like a mobile food pantry or anything of that sort is always good to mention. Even like leadership skills as well, that can be like a separate question during the interview, but it does kind of fall into the same one with the sample question here. So definitely be prepared for some sort of question like this. For number 9, this is a very important question that I've noticed that you should definitely have an answer to. It is, what will you do if you don't get into vet school this year? Like, what's your plan moving forward? Are you going to take more classes? Are you just going to get some more experience? Are you going to get like leadership skills? Are you going to work on your communication? So definitely having a response to that type of question will help you, just because I know for interviews it does change pretty much every year. So it is hard to like prepare for stuff, but definitely this one is probably a must to have an answer to, just because I believe I was even asked it during the first year, and then of course the first year I was rejected. So, and I did use that plan moving forward. I did gain more experience, but definitely having a response to that question is a good idea. For number 10, does your academic record accurately reflect your capabilities? So this is kind of like any place where you can explain low grades is always a good thing. So you can go into that explanation here with this question, or if something like medically happened during a semester, you can mention that here as well. But I've noticed that more and more schools are asking some sort of question like this one, so you probably will want to be prepared for this type of question. But that is it for the video today. If you guys have any questions, just put it down in the comments, and I do hope that this was helpful.